Well, hello everyone, I'm Steve Edney, the head gardener of the Salutation, and welcome to my video diary. What I'm going to be doing for you today is, we're doing an awful lot of planting in the garden at the moment. It's spring, it's mid-March, we've been planting for a little while now, but the soil's starting to warm up and we just want to get stuck into building the herbaceous and our shrub collection within the garden, because we've been restoring now for 5 years, and there are a number of plants actually that have done extremely well for us, in fact a little too well. So in this instance we're going to be planting a new variety of Cornus Alba. Now the Cornus Alba Siberica we had, this is what we've dug up, about 15 of these, and they have fantastic winter stems, and they, as soon as the leaves drop, start to get more and more intensely red, but a little bit over ambitious. They just get a bit too big, and no matter how much we cut them down each year, the regrowth in a season is just too large. And what we want is to have nothing really more than about 2 feet tall at this point in this border, because the sun it tracks east to west, and so it actually tracks right the way behind us here. So if we have these huge stems right here at the back of the border, anything in front we have to then pick that's going to be shade loving, because it just shades things out, so it makes it a bit more difficult. And so what we're really looking for is something that doesn't compete for the sun too much. Also, we've come across this lovely variety while we've been hunting in the nurseries, Cornus Alba, and its Ivory Halo. Now it's not quite so vigorous, so it's going to be a bit smaller, and unlike the Siberica, it's got a lovely variegated leaf with a reddy tinge to it. So it's not too much of a thug, and we should be able to keep it in check really easily. And it has the added bonus that not only does it have the fantastic reddening of the stems during the winter, but it has the fantastic leaves in the summer, which are going to complement and contrast with the other flowering plants all around it in the summer, instead of just being a big block of greenery, which is what the Cornus Alba is normally. So I've placed out all these plants already. Here's one I did earlier, and I want to get this guy in. We prepared the border during the autumn with lots of compost, and now what we're looking to do is get these guys in now that we've cleared the cornices out. Now the cornices, although we put lots of compost in here, we didn't actually take the cornices out until about 3 or 4 days ago, because we didn't want to lose their beautiful intense red stems during this winter. So we've waited till the last minute to actually take them out and replace them. Now we're pretty lucky here, we've got a silty soil. It's a very deep alluvial deposit, it's the old riverbed, and it has its plus side because it's fairly easy to work. But on the downside it gets extremely dry in the summertime, so we add a lot of compost to these borders and we mulch an awful lot. The other thing we do, and I like to do with all shrubs particularly, herbaceous it's useful for as well, but particularly shrubs and roses, is to add root grow. Now the root grow, root zone, it's basically a beneficial mycorrhizae, and the easy way to describe that is it's like thousands of extra new roots that attach themselves as a little fungus that grows underground. Now it's not a fungus that's going to kill the plant, it's actually going to work in harmony with it. It'll take up lots of trace elements that the plant couldn't perhaps reach by itself. It'll also help it to establish much quicker, and hopefully have a stronger plant in the long run. One that's more, not just disease resistant, but resisting the really dry conditions that we get during the summer. And of course we'll mulch this as well. Now this is absolutely what you're looking for. As I've pulled this plant out of its pot, you're looking for a good established network of roots, but not so established that it's pot bound. So I can just kind of give this a little bit of a tease. Doesn't matter if I rip a few roots, that's fine, but we just want to tease them up so they don't go round and round in circles. So this is absolutely perfect actually as as a pot plant. I wasn't sure what I was going to get when I pulled it out, but we use Palmstead is one of our suppliers, and certainly where we got this particular variety from. They're at Y, and they're a great commercial grower, and we use them for all kinds of bits and bobs, and we use lots of nurseries, to be honest. We scour the countryside and even the world sometimes looking for things, but it's nice to use the local nurseries as well. So this guy's ready to go in. Now we're planting to what they call the nursery line. So that means that we don't actually plant, if I pull this one out from behind me, you don't want to actually plant any deeper than where the actual stem is on the compost in the pots, because any deeper and there's chances that it can rot off. Any shallower and you're going to have roots exposed, and they're going to die because they're not going to be taking up water. Also, it may not be as stable, because roots are very important, particularly for shrubs, not just for taking up food and water, but for anchorage. They're what hold the plant in the ground. So we want to firm it in well, but we want to plant it literally just at its nursery line. Now I won't, often you'll see people, kind of really pushing down with their feet. I don't do that, because actually our soil, because it's silty, it compacts quite a lot all by itself. So we just give it a really good firm with our fingers, and then a bit of a tidy up around it. Take away any stones, which we find masses of in the garden, of course. Pop them into the pot. Really important, and especially in a garden like ours where we're open to the public and people are coming into the garden all the time, looking at our combinations of plants and all wondering what they are. We actually make our own labels. We don't use the kind of the classic black botanical labels, because I don't think it suits our style of garden, because we're more a cottage garden, we're not a botanical collection. We want it to look very personal, and hopefully that says all of those things in our signs. Fantastic. In a position where it can be easily read from the path without people having to clamber into the borders. Now, we give him a good watering in, and then a bit of a mulch, and he's ready and set for the summer. During the first season, we'd always keep our eyes on him, water it during dry periods. After the first season, he's on his own, he has to be able to survive, and if we find that actually it's struggling in its position, we've either picked perhaps a poor variety and it's certainly not suited to the space, and then we'll have a rethink if that's if that's the case. But hopefully we've picked the right plant for the right place, and it will thrive and do really well for us.